I'm Philip Russo. I'm here for the Commercial Observer talking with Matias Recchia, CEO and co-founder of Keyway, a New York-based AI SaaS company, and we're going to be talking about a whole lot of interesting new AI features from his company for the real estate world, particularly multifamily. Matthias, it's good to see you again.
Great seeing you again, Phil. Thank you for the time today. Excited to talk to you.
It's really interesting what's been happening with your company. I've followed it since I wrote about it in 2022, but about 2023, something happened, something changed that made your company go in a different way, look at a different level of where you wanted to finally wind up for your clients.
Yeah, you're exactly right. So we started Keyway around 4 years ago, and initially we built machine learning and data science models in order to source, underwrite, and transact assets. And we were very successful doing that. We acquired over $400 million in assets with JV partners. Fast forward 2023, and we saw the huge race of AI and how that we believe it's going to transform software for all industries. And real estate is not going to be a difference. And we thought hard about what are the core capabilities that Keyway has. And our core capabilities are data, software development, and technology. We decided to shift our strategy and focus solely on licensing software and building AI-based software for the real estate industry.
When you decided to get deeper into AI, you had a kind of built-in advantage because you have a lot of engineers with your company. How many do you have now, and how are they utilized in having moved to more of an AI software SaaS company?
So we have a team of 35 developers, data scientists, and product managers. So we're a very tech-centric organization. We're 45 people, and 35 of them are in technology. And we're using AI not only to serve our customers, but also we're using a bunch of AI internally to improve our processes. So our developers are coding with AI. They're on top of every single model, whether it's open source or closed source, that's out there, and building on top of that to create the best products we can for customers.
Was that a difficult shift to make when you're used to doing things one way, or did it happen relatively quickly?
It happened relatively quickly. At the end of the day, the advantage we had is we had used our software to transact. So we knew what worked, we didn't work, and we had the advantage of working with real estate professionals that were part of our team, that were part of Goldman Sachs, Blackstone, Brookfield, etc. So we built our software with real use cases. We used our software initially to transact, to manage assets, to review loans, to sign leases. So it's almost like we had a 3-year pilot with internal customers where we could really learn how different firms did things differently. And then it's just very exciting to extrapolate that and start offering services to the industry as a whole.
That's very interesting. When you started making this change, how did your clients react? Did they all say, oh yeah, we'll pilot this? Or was there any hesitancy?
I think a lot of firms are trying to figure out what AI means for them. Do they need to build AI solutions internally? Do they need to license them? Do they need to create partnerships with companies in order to leverage AI? So a lot of last year has been around educating customers, telling them not only what products we have, but also what's available out there, and figure out with them whether it makes sense to buy, license, or partner. And that really depends on what type of firm you are. What's your core capability? If your core capability is technology and data and quant analytics, it may make sense to build your own AI tools. But for 95% of the industry, where your core capabilities are raising capital, closing real estate transaction, and managing assets, you're much better off partnering or licensing third-party software.
In doing this, how many of your clients said, look, we want to do a pilot with you, who are still doing it? How long is that process taking?
It varies customer by customer. Smaller customers may not currently have a software solution, and we can provide a full stack AI copilot to help them from sourcing to underwriting to managing their assets and manage all of their documentation in the same place. And those pilots generally go for a month to 6 weeks, and then they're ready to go. When you deal with largest customers, and we're currently working with some of the largest real estate firms in the world, you run into the fact that they have legacy software that they're currently using for some of the solutions. And so a lot of what we need to figure out is where do we plug and play our solution, whether we start by piloting only our sourcing tool or our underwriting tool or our document copilot and document management tool or our asset management and revenue management tool. So with larger firms, it takes more time. The pilots are longer. Also, it's just very attractive and much more sticky when it works well.
That's wonderful. When you engage with the client now as a AI SaaS company, do you find that most of them want the documentation app or other things?
We see a couple of interesting uses for AI right now. One is the ability to take unstructured data and get insights from that unstructured data. So a lot of what they want is just, how do I digitize everything I know and all the documents I have? How can I quickly access them? How can I get insights from them in an efficient way? So our document copilot tool, KeyDocs, has been a huge success in that end. And that's a very clear pain point that folks have is, I have this data. I know this data has value. How do I extract it? And how do I connect it with everything else I do? A second use case where we're seeing a ton of traction right now is on the revenue management side, in particular for multifamily, in which we're taking a very different approach than the rest of the industry. Up to now, it was all about having proprietary data. It's having private data and use that to take revenue management decisions. We're taking a fundamentally different approach where we're leveraging all publicly available data, normalizing it, structuring it, taking into consideration all of the regulation around it, and giving you a system that can give you insights in terms of revenue management and recommendations based only in public data without accessing any private data. If you have your own data, we can integrate it via APIs so that you enhance the public data with your own private data. But that's your choice to make.
So Matias, in trying to harness all this AI technology, what are the uses that you are going forward with right now, and what seems to be most in demand?
Yeah. So one is just this idea behind taking unstructured data, any sort of data you want, and getting insights out of that data. So being able to combine rent information with crime information, with migration information, with the performance of different asset classes to get insights in, and being able to contribute that data in whatever shape or form you have it, and have clarity and have very clear insights coming from that. So this idea of being able to have a single data repository and get insights from that is huge, and it's a very clear case of how AI can help any company today. The first use case is really around processing and understanding all of the data you have and have that data being enhanced by every publicly available data that's out there. So it's going from unstructured data to insights, whether that's leases information, rent roll information, previous transaction information. It's just a very powerful way. AI provides a very powerful way to harness all of the data that you have. The second piece that's very, very interesting, and it's getting a lot of traction with AI, it's really automating workflows. Things such as underwriting assets, creating leases, creating lease abstracts, etc. Those are things where AI can come in and automate all of those workflows, not in a single way like traditional software used to do, not forcing you to follow what the software wants, but a little bit the opposite is you tell us how your company generally runs these processes. You tell us what sort of data you want to see and how you want to see it, and the software will adapt to you. And philosophically, it's a very different way of thinking about using technology. I don't need to force you into my software. My software will adapt to you and will learn from the things that you want to see in order to help you take better decisions. And automating everything that's more manual. It's really this like supercharged tool. I don't think that AI will substitute humans, or at least, I can't think about it in the next couple of years, but really enhance what humans are doing. So the way in which I think about it is, if someone is working in a leasing office in a multifamily building, their time is much better spent touring the asset, meeting prospective tenants, learning and having conversations with the tenants, touring the units, smelling the units, looking around. How does the space feel? Do the things that are truly human and human related, and let the stuff around report generation, lease management, expirations, revenue management, market intelligence be done by the AI. Same thing for acquisitions. What's a great acquisitions person in real estate? It's not someone that builds a better Excel model. Most firms think they have pretty amazing Excel valuation models, by the way, and we've seen all of them, and they're pretty similar. But let's leave that aside. At the end of the day, what makes a great acquisition person is the ability to see an opportunity where someone else doesn't see it. The ability to build a relationship, create a great reputation with people in the marketplace. It's the ability to negotiate and craft a deal. And those are things that humans will keep doing, but running the model, getting the comps, analyzing the due diligence documentation, those are things that AI can do for you in a couple of seconds and not weeks.
So interesting, because there's an irony that the AI actually may free up a lot of time for people to go back, real estate professionals of all kinds, to what real estate used to be, a very face-to-face, hands-on relationship business, because now they won't be stuck behind a computer entering data.
I agree with you. I think it's going to be much more fun to be a real estate professional, whether you're a broker, an acquisitions person, an asset manager, or a property manager. It's much more exciting to be out there meeting with people, networking, closing deals, talking with prospective tenants, talking with real tenants, understanding their needs, and being more creative, and leaving the office work really in the hands of AI. Let AI do the boring stuff. Let AI normalize the data. Let AI give you insights, and spend your time doing the fun things, which is closing deals and making money with deals and managing deals better.
Two things based on all that. One, how long does it take to train someone on the client end to work with your people, to work with your AI? And then two, what sectors of real estate are you covering with this?
First, onboarding is easy. We generally have folks up and running in a couple of hours, 4 hours at the most. The big difference between AI-based software and traditional software is AI just talks like you. You can just chat with any of our products. You don't need to learn a weird configuration or where you upload stuff. If you have documents, we can connect with OneDrive or with any document sharing tool you have, and you don't need to upload any document. They're automatically uploaded. You don't need to look for where to click or where to find stuff. You can just chat with your Copilot and get the answers where you want them. You can ask the Copilot for data in a specific format. You can download that data. You can take it to Excel. You can upload it again. So it's really around adapting to the tools and the processes that people have and enhancing them, and not forcing them to work in a fundamentally different way to adapt to our software.
Right. And is there a verbal component to this? Can you speak to the AI Copilot?
Not for now, but it wouldn't be hard to do. A lot of people today work in open floor plans, so I think speaking to AI may not be what everyone wants, but if they wanted it, that would actually be a quite just like an easy feature to add in. So I'll add it to a list of features that we can offer to customers, and we'll call it the Phil Russo feature.
I don't talk to anybody unless I have to. One of the other things you mentioned was multifamily, where there has been a huge concentration to try to help property managers through technology and now through another layer of AI. Are you trying this in other sectors of real estate as well? Is there demand there?
Yeah, so multifamily is the first vertical we're going after, and where we've gone really, really deep on the rent comps and revenue management, just because property management and asset management has become an extremely tough business in this environment, and we're seeing more and more firms looking for ways to become more efficient and make better decisions. So we're scraping all publicly available data for comps. We're providing revenue management recommendations that in a way in which it respects the restrictions that are in the law. And we're also adding to that sentiment analysis. So again, not only numerical values in terms of what people are willing to pay, what people are paying, what concessions are out there, but also how do people feel about your building versus other buildings? How are people perceiving the neighborhood? What things they value or not? And just understanding that color behind the numbers as well, where AI can be very, very helpful. For some of our other products, like our Document Copilot, it's completely asset agnostic. So we're working with firms that are in multifamily, but also firms that are doing development, firms that are in the industrial sector, even office and office leases has been, an area that we were surprised. We were not initially going after them, and we've seen a lot of proactive reach out from firms that are in the office and the industrial sector, and they're using now our products. Similarly, for now our distribution was only focused in the US, and we've had some European firms reaching out proactively, and now we're working with a number of them as well, which is very, very exciting. And it also shows the power of the software and the excitement of folks to truly incorporate AI into their day-to-day.
Yes, I was going to ask, I know you're national, but getting some international clients and interest at this stage of your company's development is pretty interesting, pretty extraordinary. Did they come to you, or did you do a reach out?
Zero reach out. We've spent basically no money in marketing so far, and what we've had is folks reaching out proactively. The industry is pretty small at the end of the day. People talk to each other. It is a people industry. People go to conferences, etc. And that's our favorite acquisition channel. Just someone telling their colleague, I'm using Keyway software, I'm using KeyDocs, it's giving me fantastic results. You should check it out. And that's been our marketing strategy so far. It's like referrals.
Well, you're doing something right. You've come a far way in a pretty short amount of time, particularly for a prop tech software startup company, which usually takes longer to develop. Where do you see the company in the coming year and maybe 5 years out? How do you see the company and the business of software, of AI for real estate, particularly growing as an industry?
I think we're going to see huge growth in software for real estate in general, not because companies are going to be spending more money. I think companies are going to rethink their software stack, and AI-based solutions will take over a lot of what traditional software used to offer in a much more efficient way, both in terms of reducing time and effort that's put into managing that software, but also in terms of lower costs associated with the software that's developing, leveraging AI versus not. And for now, Keyway is a very multifamily-centric organization and a very US-centric organization. And I expect that to change in the coming years, and us becoming a multi-sector organization that's not only focused in multifamily, but also in other asset classes, and expanding globally in our offering.
And I'm a little chauvinistic, but you're headquartered right here in the heart of Manhattan, in the Flatiron district, where there is a lot of prop tech companies, and it was the original hub of prop tech. So you must feel comfortable being in the center of PropTech and real estate in the United States.
Yeah, I think I'm a lover of New York City, and I do think for PropTech companies, New York does bring the best of both worlds. New York is truly becoming an AI center in the US. Palo Alto and Silicon Valley have really taken most of the deep tech knowledge and development, but New York, I think it's a short in a pretty good second place in terms of attracting AI companies, and in particular when you're applying AI to traditional industries that are based out on the city. New York is the center of real estate in the world, and we're just bringing that technology again to where the people that make the largest decisions in real estate sit.
Another issue when it comes to AI software being offered as a SaaS is security. Everybody is hyper worried as things get more and more intrusive technologically about, is my data safe? Are my people safe? How do you approach that issue?
Data safety is a huge concern for our customers, and it should be a big concern. At the end of the day, data for real estate firms, it's an asset, no different than capital. In the same way in which I will not recommend you going to ChatGPT and putting all of your banking information, I will not recommend you going to ChatGPT and simply uploading all of your leases and your past transactions. So working with firms such as Keyway that have what's called SOC 2 compliance and that build sandboxes that are specific to your company is very, very critical. Making sure that the data is encrypted, whether it's resting data or data that's being passed to our system via APIs, is super, super important. With Keyway, we've now gone one step further. We give companies the option to use their own infrastructure or to host the information in our infrastructure. Both of them are safe, but it's really a la carte. It's what's the preference of the company and how they think that their data is going to be safer. I think another point that does not get talked that much with AI and data safety and decisions is a lot of AI solutions are coming up with what it's called black box recommendations. So what should be the rent in this unit? $3,500 per month. We believe that's not enough. So what our software does, and that also talks about data security and trust in the data, is it'll give you an answer, but it will also give you access to all of the source documentation and all of the source listings that are being used to make that recommendation. And I think that's also quite important for users to think about what they think about their AI data providers, and for AI developers and companies that are providing software. It's not just the answer, it's giving users enough visibility in terms of where is the answer coming from and what's the source data that's being used to inform that recommendation.
It's particularly important in real estate, which has traditionally been non-transparent in the most extreme ways. So as we add technology which could either obscure or enlighten, with your company, you can use your servers and your software to bring greater transparency, another level of the source material, which many research firms don't share within the industry. So it seems quite a leg up.
Exactly. And at the end of the day, we're giving folks a recommendation, but they can double click as much as they want to the point of getting the raw data, and they get them to Excel and play around with it if that's what they need. But we're not asking them to trust us. We want them to be able to see the source data, play with it, and build solutions together.
Well, Matias, continued success. It's great to have you. We have Matias Recchia, CEO and co-founder of Keyway, with us today at the Commercial Observer, and I can't thank you enough for the chat.
Thank you so much, Phil, and thank you to the Commercial Observer as well for the time.